A meaty, cheesy PP. This is what we're after. The classic, lesser known Chicago food, the humble pizza puff. Oh my God, it's molten. Ow. So it's a tortilla and basically pizza on the inside. Cheese, sauce, a little bit of sausage, I believe. This one is a beef sausage. Extremely hot. If it doesn't burn the roof of your mouth, you ain't living. This is gonna affect me for the rest of my life. Super crunchy. Gummy is a bad word, but kind of gummy, which makes it good because the inside's like super gooey. This is just classic stuff. Now you gotta give it up and give respect to the OGs, but the good news is that you don't have to come to Chicago to try one of these. I'm gonna show you how to make it. Our puff pilgrimage begins with the filling. OG Chicago-style pizza puffs feature a chunky, robust, meaty filling. And believe it or not, this filling includes potato, so go ahead and square off, then small dice one large russet potato. Now dice one large yellow onion into similar sized pieces as the potato. Do the same with one large red and green pepper. Now this recipe makes enough filling for our 6 pizza puffs and then some. I'm going to show you a fun little way to use the extra filling later on in the vid. Bring a large high-sided pan or something similar up on medium heat. Then drizzle in the olive oil. Add the onions and a pinch of salt. Stir that up to give the onions a head start cooking. Then, once they turn translucent, add in the peppers and potato, followed by, you guessed it, another pinch of salt. Remember, we add bits of salt throughout the entire cooking process to ensure a well-seasoned, finished dish. Master this and your cooking will be noticeably better, I promise. This is spicy Italian sausage, as we call it here in Chicago. I have a video on how to make this from scratch if you want to take that on. If not, just go to your grocery store and buy Italian sausage links and just cut the meat out of the casings. Plop in your bulk sausage, then use a couple wooden spoons to give the whole lot a nice little choppy. We want a pretty fine meat mixture here, so try to ensure that there isn't massive chunkage in the mix. Once you do that, spoon in the minced garlic, tomato paste, and this. This is my Italian spice blend. You can totally use store-bought if that's what you got, but I like making my own spice blends most of the time just to control what's in it. A lot of the time, spice blends are chocked full of salt and other cheap ingredients. I like a lot more fennel and a bit more chili flake in my mix, so this way I can add what I want. Stir that all around and let the tomato paste cook out a bit. We want it to sort of coat and brulee onto the bottom of the pan so that we can harvest the flavor from what's called the fond. Deglaze with a splash of red wine. White wine works too if that's what you got. Then use a sturdy spatula to scrape the fond from the bottom of the pan. Now add in that can of chopped tomatoes, a dash of shugs, and another of salt and pep. And come on, this wouldn't be our recipe if we didn't add a pinch of the GP, aka the God Particle, aka MSG. Stir that around, then let it simmer for 10 minutes, then cut the heat. Now, we want to cool the sauce down before folding our puffs. You can speed this up by pouring the filling onto a sheet tray, then sticking it in the freezer to cool. While that's chilling, literally and figuratively, grate up some full-fat mozzarella cheese on the large whole side of your box grater. Remember, fat equals flavor, people. Make sure to use a nice full-fat mozzarella for this. Real quick, I want to talk to you about the Omnivorous Adam Patreon page. As a patron, you're going to get access to a bunch of really cool exclusive stuff. We got a monthly photo contest giveaway, we have exclusive merch, we have behind the scenes bonus content, and even live cooking demos. So for less than a grande latte from Starbucks worth of cheddar per month, you can help support Omnivorous Adam and everything that we're doing here on this channel. Regardless if you can support financially or not, come say what up in the Discord. It's open to everybody. We're having chats about food, about life, everything in between. So come on in. All right, back to the video. All right, let's talk dough. We're going to make a basic flour tortilla style dough. Do so by weighing out your all-purpose flour in a large bowl. Then pinch in some room temperature lard, aka pig fat. You could use neutral oil for this, but the lard really does make a difference. Make sure that the fat is worked into the flour evenly and there are no large bits. Now pour some kosher salt into your warm water and stir it up to dissolve. Make a well in the center of the fatty flour and pour in the agua. Use your skin mittens to stir that all together and knead it in the bowl until it's homogeneous. Once you're there, turn it out onto your work surface. No need to add any flour here, this dough is very fatty and will not stick. Then form it into a large ball. The dough is going to be a bit craggly, don't worry, this is normal. Eyeball or weigh out 6 equal pieces of the dough, then form them into smaller balls. Cover those up with plastic wrap and let them rest for 30 minutes. Once rested, the dough will be soft and supple, so use a rolling pin to flatten it out into a thin 12 by 12 inch circle that's about 1/6 of an inch thick. Or thin, I should say. Lay down a 1/4 cup of the mozzarella cheese, followed by the same amount of filling, then a bit more cheese on top. Fold the bottom to the top, then the sides, then bring the top to the bottom. And if there seems to be some excess dough, use your knife to slice that away, no problem. This part is important. We need to pinch the dough edge closed to ensure that it doesn't pop open on us in the fryer. Nobody needs an exploded puff on their hands and hot oil on their skin. Don't skip this step. Now just rinse and repeat with the remaining puffage. Carefully lower the pizza puff, 1 or 2 at a time, into the preheated neutral oil and fry for 4 to 5 minutes or until golden. Not golden brown, just golden. Then rest on a sheet tray fitted with a wire rack. All right, so these are still looking a little pale. You could bump the heat up a little bit and double fry them, get them super golden and crisp. I've done that before, however, they still tend to come out a little unevenly cooked. There's a lot more dough on the bottom here than on the top, and that tends to be raw even when they're double fried. So what I've found is the best way to do it is to pop them all in a rack and then bake them off in a hot oven for 10 to basically 20 minutes. It all just depends. Keep an eye on your puffs in the oven. Once they're golden brown and the dough seems to be crisp and finished, they're done. Now, you might have to sacrifice a puff and slice into it to ensure doneness, but hey, you know, that's life. Let's cut into this hungy puff. Look at that, you got the classic fold on the back. That, to me, looks like a pizza puff right there. Got a little grease coming through, and it is tortilla, so you can kind of see all these little bubbles from the fryer. We need a beefy boy for this beefy puff. Oh, a meaty, cheesy PP. You see like the ragu in there, it's kind of melted in with the cheese instead of being this big molten cheese pocket. It's mostly, honestly, it's mostly that meat filling that we did, so I'll shut up. Hot dang. In the puff there, you can see the cheese kind of just melts in with that gooey ragu. You got this like, definitely crispy, but almost like, it's cooked through, but almost gooey, kind of thick bottom crust that's still quite crisp. This thing is special. Now this is delicious, but I can do you one better. If you want to go above and beyond, you can chicken Parmesan-itize your pizza puff, sans chicken. Top the puff with a little filling, then a lot of cheese. Hit it under the broiler for about, I don't know, 3 to 4 minutes, or just until that cheese is bubbly and browned, a la chicken Parmesan. Gotta take it out before I burn the crib down. Finish with a bit of chopped parsley, good olive oil, and a healthy dusting of Parmesan cheese. Now that, mi amigos, is decadence. Now the pizza puff is actually a pretty interesting and unique food and really does tell a great story of the city of Chicago and really just America in general as a whole. It's an Italian dish made with Mexican-inspired ingredients, and I mean, I picked this up at a Polish hot dog stand that's now owned by Koreans. Come on, that's America, baby, let's go. Of course, the whole recipe for this is over on my website, and I did include a fun little link to a story that kind of explains the history of the pizza puff, if that interests you, to my nerds out there, like me. Jesus. That is going to destroy the roof of my mouth, but I'm into it. You should make this. That was mean to my rags, I feel bad. If you're planning on puffing out and making a pizza puff of your own or just like the video, give it a like, it helps us a lot. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Regardless, come say what up in Discord. We be chatting, we're always talking and hanging out in there. It's a fun place for all to kind of just get together. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So until the next episode, ciao.